Yes, want to welcome everyone to Sports Fan Talk. I am your humble host, Big G.
This your player partner, your boy, Raider Mike.
All right, Raider lady in the building. Let's go.
And your boy, the young Art, back at it again.
Yes, indeed. Tonight we got a nice full plate for everybody. We're going to get down and dirty, and we're going to lead it off. Speaking of down and dirty, we're going to get to talking about Curt Schilling and his comments that he made about Brittany Griner being detained over there in Russia. And with this one, we're going to lead it off with Raider Lady 19. Let us know what's on your mind.
Oh, true indeed. Look, it was condescending. We know what's up. It was condescending, and especially in terms of how hard is it to obey the fucking law. That's what he said. Like, you got to do is obey the law. So, it was said, and, with a subliminally saying that, black folks don't follow the law. That's what it came down to. He don't have to say it. Just what the person doesn't say, necessarily what they say, is what they don't say. And so I could hear in those words what he didn't say, and that's what he wanted to say, but he ain't encouraged. He don't have enough guts to say it himself. So he said, why don't they? How simple it is to obey the law. Well, the fact is, let me fill you in on something, Curt. The woman's been playing over there for 8 years. She very well knows the law. Now, whether she intentionally did it, she said she didn't intentionally do it. I happen to believe that because you don't play over there that long. You understand the law. They know the law. They have coaches and agents and team officials who teach them the law when you play overseas. I don't know. Curt ain't never really played and stayed overseas, so he really wouldn't know how that goes down. So again, I heard what you didn't say, Curt, and the fact is, you just do things you do. That's Curt Schilling stuff. That's what you do. You got a chip on your shoulder. I don't care that you call yourself conservative or whatever the case may not, but he did that at LeBron James. That was on the LeBron James thread. So, that's your politics playing out in the world of sports, but he wrong. At the end of the day, you wrong. You out of line, but you're going to take them weak shots. That's what weak people do. They take weak shots. They take veil shots. They don't say it out directly. You should be a man about that and say what's really on your mind, but you scared. So, you're still trying to get into the Hall of Fame. I understand.
I like that.
Hey, that was a good one.
I want to follow that up, man, because Curt, he has a history of going in on black athletes. Like when Adam Jones was talking about being called the N-word at Fenway Park, Curt Schilling basically said he lied about it. It's like he didn't believe him. He was like, if he was called that, then everyone around the dude who said it would have said something, and things to that nature. And I'm just like, whatever. And then you follow that up with the fact that he's compared Muslims to Nazis. He has a Nazi memorabilia collection himself. And the guy just always seems to jump into black people's threads and then contradict what they're saying or just say he doesn't believe them. And then he says like, oh, there's 300 million people in the world. You can't just obey the law. It's like, come on, man. How about when you got that $75 million loan from Rhode Island that you defaulted on, and they coming back at you for that money and they sued you for the money. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not that easy to follow the law then when it's you. So, like you said, he's just being condescending. And the next black athlete that has an issue, that has a problem, Curt Schilling will be in their thread contradicting what they have to say too. He's just that type of dude. He's trying to follow up like one of his buddies, Donald Trump, trying to be in that same vein, but he just doesn't come off the same. I just don't appreciate that dude. I think anytime there's an issue in the black community, he's one of those people who thinks they can interject what they feel upon everyone else. I just can't stand the cat myself. Raider Mike, what do you have to say about it, man?
Well, I just read that and that little thing about it. He full of, he full of what, man. I hate when people do that. I mean, we need to follow the law. I mean, if it was that easy, they wouldn't have all these jails and these prisons, would it? I'm just saying, for really people that really don't follow the law. You said it's so easy, right? Well, we don't have all these prisons built and all these jails, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man,
exactly.
give me a break. I mean, she did. I don't think she did it on purpose. I wonder if anybody, you never know, man. You know, this stuff going with the United States and Russia, probably, the United States intervening on that, on going over there. You know what I'm saying? And they may have, who knows, man? They could have set her up. Who knows? I mean, just so they can, retain somebody, detain her so she can't go nowhere, and make an example out of her, which I just think is just Curt Schilling. He just need to just stick to talking about baseball and trying to beg his way into the Hall of Fame.
He can't even do that anymore. He got fired from ESPN for making offensive remarks. So he can't even talk baseball to nobody.
Well, he's a racist. He's a closet racist. Why don't you just come on out and let everybody know who you truly are? Why don't you show us your face? Because you are most definitely a closet racist.
Well, it's like the lady said, he's a coward.
Yeah, but don't you come out and just say it, man. I mean, you go on and say it and stop playing with everybody. That young lady should not be over there for all these 100 and something days, or that's ridiculous. It is ridiculous, and for him to, this is a United States citizen. This is not somebody who didn't run like this one dude that they got detained. One dude who's the what's that guy name? The guy that the U.S. got. He's
the spy. The dude who's over there for espionage.
Damn, a spy nigga. That nigga worse than Benedict Arnold. This nigga's a spy. I mean, fool is a spy. And you think they finna let him out? But come on, soon. Man. Huh?
I said no time soon.
What up? But that's what they can't hold her. I just think that Curt Schilling should have kept his comments to himself and left that alone, because it's a sensitive topic right now, because it's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous stuff. I mean, for that.
If you see who it is at, it was at LeBron. So he really was going at LeBron. Because he jumped on his thread, and again, he must be trying to go into politics or something. It's just the thing to do. That boy's a lightning rod, anything he say, and he's seen as someone who's you get money in China,
like 1 million followers.
He get money in China, so and they play off of that. So they just playing off LeBron. You bolster we bolster his political scoring points, because that's what he gonna do. He gonna run. Watch. 2024, he gonna run.
Yeah, architect. Why don't you bring us home on this?
I mean, this ain't the first time we've heard a former white professional athlete come out say some stuff like this. I remember when the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing was happening, the whole Brian Urlacher basically saying free him and da-da-da-da. And like, I feel like now, especially in the day of like social media, people feel like they can hide behind their computers and their keyboards, when realistically, I mean, if we all know, if Curt Schilling was standing in front of LeBron James, he probably wouldn't have said that shit. You feel me? If he was standing in a room full of black people, he wouldn't have said no shit like that.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? My thing is this, man, just because you have the internet, just because you feel like you're protected, that doesn't mean a damn thing. Like, obviously, especially if you're one of these famous athletes, your words are going to be projected into the spotlight, no matter how little or big you think it is. Curt Schilling, man, I mean, 300 million people just obey the fucking law. I mean, shit, at the end of the day, dog, you didn't obey the law. So, what the fuck you got to say about that? You feel me? Like, I don't know, man. I think all this shit is pretty idiotic in my personal opinion. Like, I feel like, sometimes you just shut the fuck up, keep your opinion to yourself. Excuse my language on that, but that's just the way I feel about it. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think he's just trying to, like the Raider lady said, I think he's trying to get a ruse. He's trying to, he wants people to talk about him. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I don't really take heed to anything he says, because at the end of the day, like, I mean, he's a retired baseball player, so what the fuck does he have to do with anything that Brittany Griner or anybody that plays professional basketball going on?
Yes, 100% agree. You know what I mean? And I'm glad we got that out the way. I just, really just want to show support for her. because him saying some shit like that, man, that's like totally anti. I mean, he's supposed to be pro-American. She's an American at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So the hell are you over here like she deserves to be locked up for paying for her crimes? It's like, come on, man. She's an American, bro. Bring her home. Stop with the bullshit. Clearly, you're on one side of America, and I guess we're on the other side. So anyway, fuck you, Curt Schilling. On to the next thing. We're going to talk money, 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 money.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray. The boy that came into 230 million ducats, man. 160 million of them ducats guaranteed. All right. Red or Mike, what do you think about that young man getting his paper?
Told him reeling in Murray. I knew he was gonna get paid, man. I knew he was gonna get paid in spite of what I'm listening to all these sports broadcasters, people talking, well, he needs to be a leader. He needs to be this. What do you mean? He needs to lead his team. He lead his team to the playoffs. He can't help it that people was injured in that playoff game that, hey, he really didn't have much to work with the wide receiver core, except for AJ, Green and other people. All other people was hurt. I mean, he did the best that he could. He's still young, still a very young quarterback, and he will get those leadership skills the way he needs to. I don't think it was nothing wrong with him. They said he's immature for taking down all the Cardinal stuff down on his whatever his Instagram, whatever it was. Who cares? That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean you're immature. He means business. At the end of the day, he needs to be paid accordingly, like quarterbacks need to be paid for his position. It's very hazardous to your health running the ball and throwing like that he do, and Lamar Jackson, all these quarterbacks doing it. I am glad he got paid. Like I say, young brother, go out there and get your money, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go get your money, man. Get your like what E40 say, go get your scritch. Better go get it. You know what I'm saying? I just think that that was it. I knew it was coming, but I thought it was gonna be a little bit more guaranteed money, but 160, that's a lot. You can live on that money. You know what I'm saying? And I think that now Lamar Jackson's contract is next. Better be. I don't know what that fool waiting on. But anyway, I think it's a good thing for these young black quarterbacks all getting paid, and all quarterbacks are getting paid, but these guys have a different skill set than all the other drop back quarterbacks do, the dual threat. But that's all I got to say.
Okay. Architect, what'd you think about it, man?
Hey, man, for Kyler Murray signing this contract, it only makes me more happy about Lamar Jackson, because now it puts more pressure on the Ravens to give him the money that he deserves, because he's really done more than Kyler, and he's won an MVP. But, Kyler Murray, 24 years old, got averaging $46 million a year for the next 5 years. Man, you can't be mad at that. My next thing for him, take that next step. You know what I'm saying? Get better, improve. Obviously, we all know Kyler Murray is a good quarterback, but I feel like, he hasn't hit his ceiling yet. There's still not a lot to be desired, but, if I'm him, I'm looking at all this money. Granted, I feel like, he's a lot of players you see when they get this big money, they kind of take a step back. They're like, okay, I'm secured, especially that he got 160 million guaranteed. But I think Kyler Murray's hungry. I think with him getting this money, man, I think he's going to take that next step for the Cardinals. And shit, man, I hope, especially with me being out here in Arizona, I get to see him in action. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, man, I'm happy for him. Shit, 230.5 mil. That ain't too bad. And on top of that, he signed the Rock Nation. So, I'm glad to see Jay-Z got a nice little chunk of that. You know what I mean?
Indeed. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Raider lady, what do you think about this man getting his money?
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. Anytime anybody gets paid is a beautiful thing, because you're changing the course of people's lives, like, for real. But I'm always got, I've always, yeah. But look, I need Kyler to I need him to ball. And when I mean ball, it's not even about his playing ability. It is the leadership thing, like Raider Mike said. For me, it is because I've seen him on the sideline and I've seen some disparaging body language and looks. And okay, my thing is if that's that who you are, then you have to still find a way to still keep your team together at the same time as being yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what you do, that's your thing. If you're able to bounce back, but you got to keep your squad together. You can't have veterans. Whispers was it was veterans who didn't really like how he was carrying himself at times during the course of a game. They said he had to be talked to go back into a game. I don't want nobody making. I'm giving 162 straight up that I got to coerce you to go back into a football game. That's a problem. You're the quarterback, man. So I need. This is the thing. And it's particular because of the stigma of a black quarterback. It's like people got to understand that you walking on the shoulders of giants that came before you. And you're setting the new standard. You are the new standard now. You're a new breed. You're a new standard. And so what I'm saying there, you got to be irreproachable, man. And that's unfortunately that's how it is, because like Jamarcus Russell said, black quarterbacks back to me after he had his debacle. It took a while for somebody else to go ahead and take a chance and go take somebody at a top like Cam Newton and so on and so forth. But you see how they did Cam. So what I'm saying is I need that dude the ball. I need him to I need to see him take it to the next level as far as his ability to keep his squad together. You don't want rumblings of people saying, I don't know. Because I mean, you got paid, but the market is what the market is, because it's just hard to find a quarterback. It's hard to find a winner. It's hard to win games in the NFL. So the market is going to dictate what it is, and Lamar's going to be the next payday. I can imagine what they're going to pay Herbert when his time comes.
Oh,
yeah. So you already know it's the nature of the game, it's the nature of the market. So he is they all in great spots. They all about to hit record numbers.
Yep.
Like it or not, you know what I'm saying? So it is.
Do you think any of them is going to see close to Patrick Mahomes numbers?
No.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson don't get 300.
Yeah,
500 million. Somebody don't get a 500 million.
Yeah.
Who gonna get $500 million contract?
Man, I think Herbert might be the one who.
Okay. Then
Spanos and them ain't finna give him that kind of money. Them cheap bastards in San Diego bastards.
Man, somebody gonna get that money, man. Because
it ain't gonna be him. Not with the Spanos family.
Hey, this is the thing, bro. This is one thing you got to realize. Before anything goes down at the end of the year when they split that pie up, like I believe, damn, how much was it? I forgot how much each NFL franchise get. But just off the rip, it's like 30 million. It's more than 30 million. I'm
50.
I'm lowballing it.
I think it's like 50.
I'm talking about NFL's printing money. You know what I'm saying? Which leads me into my thing with Kyler Murray. I mean, all the rumblings are there as far as being in doubt and all that stuff. But he must be pretty goddamn talented, because guess what? They were saying the same exact things about Baker Mayfield, and he was hard for him to find a job. And then Kyler Murray gets rewarded with $160 million guaranteed. So I'm like, I'm glad he got his money, because it's what the market bears. You know what I mean? You got to pay this dude this amount. And they know how it would look if he didn't get that kind of money. But now he got to go earn it. He had that his best numbers came when he had his little nuclear bomb too. And he had DeAndre out there. You can throw that up to DeAndre, which he should be back this year, and they're gonna be connecting again. But it's like Raider Lady said, when it comes to black quarterbacks, man, you got a lot of responsibility. You got to be above reproach. You have to be freaking mistake-free damn near. You know what I mean? Even when you do great, like Cam Newton, they're going to find something to pick apart on you. You know what I'm saying? That man win the MVP. They like, oh, he's still not as accurate. You know what I mean? He got his team to the Super Bowl, man. You know what I mean? I think that shit was thrown myself. I mean, that's just me. I'm a conspiracy type of dude. Once I saw that damn fumble hit the ground and that man didn't look like Cam Newton going for the ball, I was like, fix his in. But that's just me. But as far as Kyler is concerned, he needs the ball, like Raider Lady is saying. All right, let's put everything to bed. He has the arm, you know what I mean? He has the legs, run less. He can stay in the pocket. He can fire it. he, you know what I mean, at his short height, he can find passing lanes. So he can get the ball to where it needs to go. Just do it. You know, I don't know about his damn coach, though. You know what I mean? He's another one.
Kingsbury?
Yeah, they got an old Cliffy. He can get that offense fired up, and, you know, they'll score some points, but shit, their defense will let you right back in it. So we'll see how that goes. And, you know, but it was a great decision by Kyler to play football over being with the Oakland A's. Because guess what?
He would have got traded.
But check this out. Next year, he's going to make $40 million or $46 million, excuse me. Guess how much the A's fucking payroll is? 44 million.
44?
God damn.
They making more than everybody on that.
That man's making more than the whole roster combined, man. So kudos for him, because, you know, the A's don't deserve it right now. We A's fans for the most part, growing up in the East Bay and all that, man. Yeah. But right now, I couldn't name 5 people on the damn team. So, hey, good job, Kyler. Way to get your money back. You know, we're going to keep it pushing right along. Another football. We're getting football heavy. It's almost season. We got training camps, you know what I'm saying, cracking. You can smell the grass growing and everything. And next up, we're going to talk about someone who's been missing in action for a few years now, seems like. Mr. Michael Thomas. You know what I'm saying? Then gone. That man was on a trajectory to put up record numbers and, you know, numbers comparable to Jerry Rice. But got derailed a little bit. You know what I mean? Architect, what you got on Michael Thomas? What do you think he's going to do this year? And what you think happened to him along the way, too?
I think Drew Brees retired. I think that's what happened. I'm going to be honest. It's funny to me that, you know, he's still the highest paid player on the Saints. You feel me? Yeah. His cap hit this year is $13 million. That's $1 million. That's $1 million more than Cam Jordan. You know what I'm saying? For someone who hasn't played.
The highest cap hit is $13 million?
Yeah.
Damn.
This year, yeah. Mind you, he signed what? He signed that 5-year, $96 million contract. And the man's been sitting on the sideline collecting checks, man. He's like, to me, he's like the Ben Simmons of the NFL right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, at one point in time, yeah, we were considering Mike Thomas to be one of the best receivers in the league. But I very much now, looking at it, I very much a lot of that to Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? Drew Brees being the phenomenal generational quarterback that he was. Don't get me wrong. I think he played in those games with Teddy, and I'm sure he looked good. But why all of a sudden, as soon as the franchise quarterback starts, you know, he's like, oh, I'm about to retire, all these injuries just start coming. I'm not saying that they're not real. I'm not saying that at all. But all I'm saying is, I'm sure you fought through injuries when Drew was here. I'm sure you were able to push through some things. But, like, damn, man. Like, not only just as, like, the Saints organization, and, like, I have some friends that are Saints fans, and I ask them, like, where the hell Michael Thomas? Like, when y'all gonna get him back? You know what I'm saying? Because don't get me wrong, he, like, I thought it was funny because he didn't really run a lot of deep routes because, you know, Drew Brees didn't have the strongest arms. They call him can't guard Mike, but the man ran a lot of slants. You know what I'm saying?
Called him what?
They called him can't guard Mike. You know what I'm saying? But when you're running a lot of slants, man, I don't know. And they playing 10 yards off of you. You know, they ain't really got to worry about, ain't nobody really guarding you. You feel me? But no, I think hopefully, you know, this is the year. I hope he does come back. I hope he does prove people that he is a top receiver in the league. But at the same time, man, like, now I'm questioning, like, his dog, his inner, like, his fire, like, what fuels him now? You know what I mean? Like, they gave you all this money. They gave you, you know what I'm saying? They're giving you opportunity to be the number one receiver, the go-to guy. But now, you know, especially when you're looking at Jameis, one of his go-to guys was it Deontay Harris? know what I'm saying? Little speedster. So now when you come back, you have to find that chemistry with Jameis. And we all know Jameis like to throw that thing deep. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I hope Michael Thomas comes back and he's like the Michael Thomas that we saw before all these injuries. But I'm honestly really skeptical that he even has any fight in him. Because he hasn't shown it over the past few years, unless it was against one of his teammates. You know what I mean? So other than that, man, that's really all I got to say about that, man.
I think it's interesting, man. Let's start off with this. Man, he's a dog. He was a dog at Ohio State, man. He's a beast. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, man. He's a specimen as far as a wide receiver is concerned. And in case the people forgot, let's go do a little trip down memory lane. Rookie year, 92 catches, 1,100 yards, 9 TDs. Second year, 1,200 yards, 5 TDs. Third year, you know what I'm saying, led the league in catches and had 1,400 yards, 9 TDs. And then let's go to 2019. That man had 149 receptions, 1,725 yards, and 9 TDs. NFL Offensive Player of the Year. First wide receiver to do so since Jerry Rice. So the man, if you wonder why they're putting up with whatever the hell he got going on mentally or whatever's going on, that's exactly why. Because the NFL, and as you can see, like, just look at how Josh Gordon keeps getting chances. If you can flash and show that you have a plateau way up here, they will keep giving you chances, man. And, he had one of the worst injuries you could have for a wide receiver, which is a high ankle sprain. Mm-hmm. And then he came off of that. Well, even during that time, he had a issue with the teammate, the DB what's his name, CJ Gardner-Johnson. And the everyday issue was Gardner-Johnson was talking smack. And for all accounts, snuffed him. You know what I'm saying? Michael Thomas snuffed him, and it was like a sucker punch rather than some head up, chest to chest, which a lot of teammates didn't agree with. They didn't like it, and Thomas wouldn't apologize. In addition to that, he had issues with the coaching staff. He would argue with Peyton, and so something was going on upstairs with with him. Maybe he not feeling appreciated, or maybe smelling himself too much. Don't know. There was something going on, though. The dude is only freaking 28 years old. You know what I'm saying? So regardless, I know they're hoping that he can get it together, because you got Jameis. Jameis going to throw the ball around the yard. You might throw it to the wrong uniform from time to time, but Jameis going to have about 400 yards, 4 TDs, but he might have 3 interceptions too. So if he can get healthy, he's going to get his chances. And I hope the man does, man. And I hope like nothing's going on upstairs with him. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like there's something there. It seemed like none of his teammates like him. Like there's issues. So, and that's hard to overcome. You know what I mean? So hopefully he can get that together. Raider Mike, as a former wide receiver yourself, what do you think about that? Yeah, a little diva in you, man. You like to wear your little towel.
Michael Thomas gonna be fine, man. Since Sean Payton left, he'll be fine. I just don't think that he got along with him, because the comment that Sean Payton made before was it the 2020 season about to start, and he made a comment that Michael Thomas didn't like about, because he was trying to get him ready to make him play, and he wasn't ready to play. And I forget the comment that Sean Payton said. It seemed like ever since then, that fool has not played. And I just think that he personally, I know he got the issue with some of the players on the team, that they don't like him or whatever. But Sean Payton really said some stuff that he shouldn't have, I think he was trying to call him out a little bit, but I think he just went a little bit overboard on it. And old boy ain't played since. And I'm serious. I was paying attention to that, because I remember he was trying to make him play, when he was, but I was like, nah, he ain't playing that fool. But I think, all in all, he's going to come out and have this good season again. As long as he's 100% healthy.
With Dennis Allen as head coach?
Yeah, I know. That was a bad, because I'm going to tell you whose career Dennis Allen killed, and I'm going to tell you whose career he killed, who had a promising career on the Raiders. Denarius Moore. I went and bought the Denarius Moore jersey because that fool was that raw. As soon as Dennis Allen came, he went in the mud. And yeah, I hope Dennis Allen don't do to Michael Thomas what he did to Denarius Moore. Because Denarius Moore, after that, we ain't heard nothing about him. Went to Buffalo, and that was it. We ain't heard nothing about him. So I'm rooting for him. I think he's gonna have a good season as long as he's healthy. In spite of any of his teammates, they gonna all forgive each other. They can all make up, and it's all about winning at the end of the day. And they need him to be able to put them over the top where they need to go. Because if he ain't there catching them underneath routes and the routes that he run and things that he do well, they can't depend on Winston throwing no bomb all day. You ain't got all day to sit back there and throw that bomb. There's gonna be blitzes coming. You need somebody who can go across the middle, Gregory, and make those tough catches. And Michael Thomas is that dude.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Love him or hate him, agree to debate with him, whatever. He's still the best receiver on that team, and he's going to prove it. And that's all I got to say about that.
All right, Red Lady, bring us home on it.
Yeah, you said something, G. You said there's something going on. There's something a matter with him. Something happening, and it is. It's called "I'm trying to get out of town." That's what's wrong with him. And I knew as a Raider fan, I was hoping that they would trade him before Davante Adams. I was telling my husband, I said, they need to trade for Michael Thomas. He does not want to be there. His guy has retired. Okay, period. Drew don't play there no more. I'm sure he like, man, Jameis a cool dude. No. Just like, your time is coming. But the thing is this contractual status. You 3 years into your 5-year deal. And so they're not going to move you. So what do? You get hurt. Who know? I don't know the severity, but you go, yeah, I'm going to have surgery. So I'm going to do. I'm going to have surgery. I'm going to be out for the whole year. On top of this COVID thing that came right at the right time for him. So he could have, even though he didn't opt out, but he couldn't play anyway. But then he goes, yeah, I'm going to have surgery. So I don't play at all in 2021. So he got to see Jameson play before he got hurt. So he saw what that is. He know this team is almost basically in rebuild. It's almost a rebuild coming up. You just drafted the guy Olaba, whatever his name is, out of
from Ohio State.
Right. You got him. Who else? They picked up somebody else. I can't think of. They brought in another free agent as well. So he's trying to get out of town. And I'm hoping that he'll be in silver and black next year to play opposite with Davante Adams.
Nah, that wouldn't even be fair.
Yeah, I can see it.
Gotta be right.
I can see it though, because you give up another first to go ahead and make that happen. Okay, that's that Jerry and Timmy kind of situation. We've seen that in the slot, right? So I'm saying, but overall, I mean, like you said, 150 catches. His last time out, 150, and had 17, 20 or plus yard receptions. So he can take the top off. It ain't even a question.
Yeah.
It ain't even a question. So he's trying, like I said, he's trying to not play his way out of town. How about that?
Hey.
And I just don't think the Saints really, they're not trying to move off of him right now. They're trying to convince him to come play.
Yeah, you know what? He looked nice with a star on the side of his helmet too, though.
No, you ain't got the money for that, man. I'm just saying.
Jeez.
Right. That's the number one Jerry should have gave up instead of Amari.
Shit. Man, I like that. Hopefully that young man comes back and he plays, but I think you may be on to something there.
He's on the PUP list right now. He's on the PUP list. So, once he play about 2 or 3 games, once he do come back and be like, I'm trying to get up out of here, man. Not about week 4, he like, I think you might need to trade me.
No, hey, don't let the Saints have a winning record. He might be like, I'm a little healthy.
I don't know. I don't believe in the Saints like that. That is
me neither.
That is Tampa's division.
Dennis Allen his ass.
Yes. I'm loving it. We're staying football heavy in this next subject. We're gonna move right along. We're gonna go to the top 5 defenses of all time. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get down and dirty on this one first, man. You know what I mean? I'm going to go with my number 5. And my number 5 is going to be a defense that was cracking the year I was born, 1971. I'm going with the Purple People Eaters. You know what I'm saying? That Minnesota defense with Alan Page won the NFL MVP that year. They had Carl Eller getting down and Jim Marshall. Team. So they had it cracking then. They was 11-3, but unfortunately they lost to my Cowboys in the divisional round. We went on in the Super Bowl, and Minnesota has never won one. But that's another subject. And then we go to my number 4 all time. I'm gonna go with that the Steel Curtain, 1976. You know what I mean? They had Mean Joe on the line, and that's what Mean Joe. They had him line up cocked between the guard and the guard and the tackle, and Jack Ham, and then would just come through the middle, and they were stopping everybody. That team started off 1-4. You know what I mean? They was getting scored on, and then when they switched their defense up, they went 9-0 after that. But unfortunately, they ran into the silver and black that year when the Raiders won the Super Bowl. So that's why they're a little lower. All my top 3 Ds, they had to win the Super Bowl. So my number 3, I'm going with the Legion of Boom. You know what I mean? We had Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Brandon Browner, and them boys was bringing the hat. So I'm going to go with them with my number 3. Number 2, going with them 2000 Ravens, man. You know what I mean? They had McAllister and Starks on them corners. Man, they had old Ray in the middle. They wasn't giving up nothing on the ground, and that defense was tough. And number 1, going with the Monsters of the Midway, 1985 Bears. And to me, there's it's not even close. They're the first ones where I saw a game where they just I seen NFL players look scared. You know what I mean? I remember when they played the Niners, man, and I promise you, bro, Jerry Rice did not want no parts of going over the middle, getting hit by Mike Singletary, man. It just was what it was. You know what I mean? Phil Simms getting broke up, like teams did not want to play them. Their defense had 64 sacks, 34 interceptions, 54 turnovers, just relentless blitzing. Richard Dent had 17 sacks. I mean, what more can you say? In the playoffs, 3 games, they gave up a total of 10 points. You know what I mean? And then it culminated with a nice 46-10 win over the Patriots. So that's my top 5. Ready, lady. Top 5 defenses, NFL all time.
I'm starting with the 86 Giants. 86 Giants. LT had 20.5 sacks. 20.5. Coming from the outside linebacker, standing up, kind of envisions me of what I'll be seeing from Chandler Jones this year.
Man, that man was
standing up
like Maradona.
Right, standing up in that 3-4, coming off that edge like a bullet. Coming out. They had Leonard Marshall on that team. He had 10.5 that year. They had Carl Banks on that defense. He had 7. It was all over the place. They only gave up 23 points in the entire playoffs on their way to winning the Super Bowl. Everybody talk about the 85 Bears, but that 86 Giants teams was just nasty. It was hitting out there. I just like a defense that can hit. They was hitting. They were getting out there.
Had Jordan Sparks' daddy out there on the corner, Felipe.
Right, exactly. My next one is the 02 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, that team again. Just a team full of hitters, man. You talking about Ward Sapp? You talking about Derek Brooks? You talking about John Lynch? I mean, every level. That's what you want. And then on the quarters, you had Tiki Barber in them, every single level. To me, that's what makes a dominant defense. When you on every level of defense, you got somebody who just causes havoc. And it's just hard to do these days to get it on every level from the back end to the front. And they had it. They had Simeon Rice. Are you serious? Simeon Rice, Warren Sapp. It's not a game. They was out there hitting and they beat the shit out of my Raiders. And that was hard. Hard to watch.
We know why that happened.
Yeah, we had a coward as the head coach, and but yeah, that team, but that defense all year, They were a force. They were a force to be welcomed with. Number 3 is that 2000 Ray Lewis led Baltimore Ravens. To me, he is like the quintessential idea of a middle linebacker outside of John, Singletary, Dick Buckus, the people in the middle, Greg Lloyd. I just love my favorite position as a football is the middle linebacker. And if you got a middle linebacker who ain't out here playing, your defense has a chance. And so that Ray Lewis getting under every single block, every just offensive lineman coming, he's shedding every block, making every tackle. They had like I said, on the back end, you got Ed Reed. Ed Reed.
Yeah.
I forget who was on the corner right now. I can't think. And then they line and
Taylor.
Huh?
Yo, you said Ed Reed.
Nah, they
Chris
had
McAllister?
Chris
McAllister.
Chris
Yeah,
McAllister on the
McAllister.
outside. No, Ed Reed was the safety, but I'm talking about I
And
couldn't think who
Dwayne
was on the
Stark.
outside.
Yeah, Starks and McAllister.
Man, come
on
on
the
now.
corners.
Yeah. Just you're not you got a problem. Tony Saragoose, rest in peace.
Yep, you gotta give it to the Goose. He was one.
I mean, yeah, I can't think of the end right now at the top of my head, but they had a bad defensive end too who get at you. So you got that's my number 3. Let me get this one. My number 4 real quick. Let me get this one. 85 Bears is number 2. I mean, the fridge. I mean, 123 yards allowed. Okay, in the Super Bowl. Just 123. Not in a half, but a whole game. A whole game. So that team was not to be played with. Now this one, my number 1 is going to be, most people would have thought it'd been the Bears, but it is the Legion of Boom for me. The Legion of Boom is my number 1 defense because again, they had it at every single level, and I love the way that they were led by their linebacker and their safeties. Them safeties are coming, Earl Thomas, man, coming downhill, running 100 miles an hour. People did not want to go across the middle. They just didn't.
Cam Chancellor was lighting Vernon Davis up.
Cam Chancellor, you're not coming across the middle.
Yeah, Vernon
Bobby
Davis
Wagner, you're not coming across the middle.
Oh no.
So yeah, so and Richard Sherman at the top of his game on the outside. So that's my top 5.
I likes. Architect. Give me 5.
All right, man. For me, my 5.
That's where the youngster go with it.
Yeah, I only got one really old team in there. The rest of the teams I hadn't seen, per the norm. My number 5 for me is that 08 Pittsburgh Steelers. Although I did, the Super Bowl, it came down to the wire. But I mean, that was one of the few chances I actually got to see like a Dick LeBeau defense. You know what I'm saying? And that legendary name as far as when it comes to the NFL. I mean, team only averaging 14 points a game, if that. You know what I mean? We all remember in the Super Bowl, James Harrison, that 99-yard touchdown, iconic. But at the same time, man, you look at it, I mean, shit, they had Troy Polamalu, they had Ryan Clark, James Harrison, like I mentioned, what's that other boy? Ike Taylor, that Louisiana kid. Like, that team was, there was a bunch of dogs. I remember watching
Rod Woodson too, right?
I don't remember if they had Rod Woodson.
Rod Woodson, but that was only against Cowboys in the Super Bowl. He left.
Oh, that's right. That's right. When he had
What's
that
it called?
knee coming right
I just remember Ryan Clark launching his body at people. You know what I'm saying? Like, he played with no remorse. Obviously, we all know Troy Polamalu, the original Flying Hawaiian, and that hair just flapping out.
Yeah.
My number 4, man, I have to go with that 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A bunch of legends on that team. I don't really give them as much credit for the Super Bowl as other people do, just because they knew the playbook. So that's just that. I was a young buck, but I remember seeing my uncles getting real upset watching that John. You feel me? My granny, all my family is sitting there mad as hell. Like, what the hell is going on, man? But yeah, like Raider Lady said, you got Warren Sapp, John Lynch, Rondé Barber, Derek Brooks. The list can go on and on when it comes to that defense, man. And I mean, you had to watch it. You had to watch it. You know what I mean?
You don't want to watch that Super Bowl.
No, not Super Bowl. They don't watch. My number 3 team, man. I go with the '85 Bears. Not a team that I saw personally, but as a football fan, as watching football, playing football growing up, you hear about Mike Singletary, you hear about Richard Dent, you hear about what's that other boy, the Fridge. You know what I'm saying? He was even running in touchdowns. A little further down the line, I didn't even know Ron Rivera played for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Number 59.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Man, that hell of a team. Historic. My number 2 team is the Legion of Boom, man. I remember watching them, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially that Super Bowl when they was whooping the Broncos' ass. They had Peyton Manning looking like he did in his rookie year, how many interceptions he threw. You know what I mean? The team was so good. Malcolm Smith, who I'm sure nobody really knows. That's not a household name. He won Super Bowl MVP. You know what I mean? Just because he had a pick 6. You know what I'm saying? But on that team, you had Brandon Browner, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Bobby Wagner. Like, that team, those names alone, like I remember those matchups between Seattle and the Niners. Yeah, KJ Wright, Bruce Irvin. Like, I remember watching those battles against the Niners, and I just remember Cam Chancellor. Every time he see Vernon Davis go across the field, his eyes would light up. And man, I remember this one catch, man. Vernon Davis made it on the sideline. Cam Chancellor lit him up so bad he got up. You see his eyes was like black because he concussed him. I was just like, this is football. This is why, like, that made me realize, this is why I chose not to play football, because I'll be damned if I get hit that hard as a grown man. Like, ain't no way. You know what I mean? And my number 1, man, you know, it's that 2000 Baltimore Ravens, because not only were they, to me, the greatest defensive team ever, they were quite possibly the worst offensive team I've ever seen. You know
yeah. You have a point there.
Like, you had what was their quarterback? Trent Dilfer. Yeah, their only offense was really Shannon Sharp, who all he had was one big play in him a game. You know what I mean? He had
Sharp.
He had that record. He had that record-setting play against the Raiders. And I was like,
don't even bring that one up. That's a backbreaker.
I was at that game.
That was like 92. That was like 92 yards.
96.
Yeah, something like that. It was 90 plus. I know that. Yeah, and I was
96. It took him about 2 days to get to the end zone. Bro.
Yeah, man. I was like, this ain't the Shannon Sharp on the Broncos either, man. You know what I'm saying? But no, that team only allowed 9 points per game as a defense. Their offense didn't have to do much. They were okay. There's never been a team that I've seen in my years of living to where your defense only allows 9 points per game, or your offense is that bad and it's okay that your defense only allows 9 points a game. In history. And I highly doubt I'll ever see that again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they did that. They did that not only over the course of the regular season, but in the 4 games of the playoffs as well. 9 points per game. Man, look, Ray Lewis is my all-time favorite linebacker, man. Just the tenacity, the motivation, the little dance that he did on the intro. Like, him and Ed Reed are my 2 most favorite players of all time, just because of, like, to me, they were the embodiment of, like, aggressive, tenacious, I don't give a damn football, especially when it comes to the defensive side. Yeah, that's definitely my number 1 team, man. That 2000 Ravens teams was something different.
The Ravens.
Okay. Ready, Mike, bring us home, my brother.
Oh man, we almost got. I just tell you, Gregory, I think we'd be in the same meeting, in the same boardrooms, in the same thinking realm when we come down to, well, you know why? Because we watched these boys play. But I'm gonna tell you who's my number 5. Now you kind of slept on. I'm surprised at you. Real surprised at you. My number 5 is the Doomsday Defense of 1977 Cowboys with the Manster.
I'm
talking about that defense. That was a good defense. I will give him that. Knowing Randy White, he was great. I got to give him his credit. Then you got Ed Too Tall Jones on that defense. You had, who was the cornerback? You had Dennis Thurman. Or no, you had what's his name? Where's George and them cousin? Benny Barnes is on that defense, but that wasn't the main. Well, yeah, Everson Wadsworth on that team. Too young.
Charlie Waters out there.
Charlie
Cliff
Waters.
Harris.
I remember Charlie Waters a safety. Hollywood Henderson was on one of those.
Cliff Harris was a safety.
And who was we know Roger Staubach, so you got Drew Pearson. Well, we talking about the defense, but anyway, that was a good defense. Dallas Cowboys, that defense put a lot of threat. And Bob Lilly, I think Bob Lilly was on that. Yeah, Bob Lilly was on that one. I don't know if it was a 77. No, it was. Well, no, that wasn't 77.
He was on the earlier one.
He's like on the 75.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he was on 75. He wasn't that far removed, Greg. But that defense right there, Randy White leading the charge. That I got to give him credit.
Randy and Harvey Martin.
Yeah, and Harvey Martin. I could stomach the Cowboys. I can always be able to stomach them. They ain't gonna make you throw up. But, and then that was 5, and number 4. My number 4 defense was the 76 Oakland Raiders. That defense was vicious. You can say which ones you had. Ted Hendricks, you had Phil Filippiano clotheslining people to death. You know what I'm saying? You had Willie Brown, Jack Tatum, the assassin, and
Jack Tatum was taking heads off.
And
yeah, the Stork was on that. Was the Stork on that one?
Yeah, the Stork was on that team. He was on that team.
Howie Long. Howie Long.
No, what's his name was on? No, Howie Long went on that team. He was for what's his name? Atkinson, George Atkinson. Him and Tatum roaming around there, boy, they was killing people. They was. You couldn't go across the middle against the Ravens. Ask Sammy White when he went across the middle when what's his name put him to sleep like Curry did like this when Jack Tatum put him to sleep. That fool, he still caught the ball. Helmet flew off, but he was asleep like he was resting on a pillow like this. So that defense right there, with Willie Brown getting his signature pick 6. That fool, look, you see that fool face? Look, he was struggling like a mug to get down there. He was still could run old man Willie, like Bill King said, old man Willie. He was capping on everybody, Bill King on the under. But now my 3rd defense gotta be the steel curtain. I'll say the 78 steel curtain defense. 79 defense was good, but I think the 78 defense was better than the 79. You have Mean Joe Green, you had White, you had LC Greenwood, Donnie Shell, who else?
Mel Blunt.
You had Lambert, Snaggletooth Lambert. You had Jack Ham. Man, I could go on and on. Ron Johnson. You had who else did they had? I already said Donnie Shell, but that defense right there. No, that I named all the linebackers and Ernie Holmes. There was another defense for Ernie Holmes. So that was another linebacker that everybody had slept on that didn't really know about for the Steelers. Just to let y'all, Ernie Holmes. But I think that was, because it was coming. Mean Joe Green was the best tackle in football at that time. He's just the most intimidating. Him. And then I forgot about Mel Blunt. What about Mel Blunt? He was just paralyzing receivers. He was mugging them. That's why they got the Mel Blunt rule. Remember, they changed the rules of playing cornerback because of Mel Blunt was mugging them fools all the way down the field. Because remember, you can chuck them all the way down the field, long as the ball wasn't in the air.
Yeah.
So he was annihilating. He was 6'3", 205 pounds, playing a cornerback and was fast. And that fool was I'm telling you, that was a good defense. That was the real steel curtain defense. That 2008 defense ain't got nothing on that defense. That's the real steel curtain right there. That's a solid steel curtain. And then my number 2 defense is I got to give it to the Baltimore Ravens. That 2001, even though they beat us, they kind of roughed us up a little bit. They roughed the quarterback up. You know what I'm saying? They had Saragosa, you had Sam Adams or whatever on that defense. You had who else they had? McAllister, Starks, Ray Lewis, not Ed Reed on that team. What's the other safety that they had? But anyway, if you just name those players alone right there on that defense scared the shit out of everybody. You wasn't going across the middle. I remember Andre Rison had that ball. I was so mad that game. That ball was in his hands, man. He had a business decision to make because he was about to get lit up like a Christmas tree. He didn't catch that ball. You know what I'm saying? And Saragossa, I mean, God rest his soul. I mean, he did his job. He pounced on Gannon. They knew what they had to do to beat us because they had to get Gannon out, because if they didn't, that little 10 to 12 scores they play wasn't going to happen because we would have got them. They said Saragossa just pound on him for 400 pounds, whatever, how much he weighed, broke the man's labrum in the shoulder. But that defense right there, I got to give it to the Ravens for second. See, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you think alike. And my number one defense of all time, you could put them up against any defense, any era, don't matter, is that 46 defense of the Chicago Bears led by Buddy Ryan. That defense was killing people. You had Mike the Samurai Singletary, you had Wilbur Marshall, Otis Smith, you had even Ron Rivera was in there. You got Richard Dent, Dan Hampton. You know what I'm saying? Dave Dorison, you know, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Dorison, and you had they had squad, man. That defense right there, the way that they would get after the quarterback, the way you couldn't throw on them, where you'd have enough time to throw on. You couldn't run on them. You couldn't do nothing on them but just sit up there and just take the punishment that they was delivering. It was like Mike Singletary said, "It's my type of party. We're gonna be here all damn day." You know what I'm saying? Films. That fool's eyes were so big, looked like he was on crack or something. You know, like somebody. I've seen some crack eyes, some eyes that was very crackish before. And his eyes was just as crackish. When you know how he used to look around like this. You know what I'm saying? I thought that also contact lens or something fly out of his eye or something. His eyes, you know, so open, so wide. But yeah, I think that I got to give it to that defense. And hands down, I will take that defense over any defense.
Okay, well, good. We're gonna stay on the defensive side of the ball. We're gonna run right into what we think are the top 5 free safeties, or not even free safeties, the top 5 safeties of all time. We're gonna let Raider Lady lead us off because she may be leaving in a moment. So let's get her in first. Top 5 safeties of all time.
Ooh, top 5 safeties. I'm gonna wait to hear somebody go. I'm gonna be on like a little longer, so
Okay.
You don't have to rush me for sure.
Okay. I'll lead it off then. My number 5. I'm gonna go with someone whose career ended prematurely because of kidney disease. We're gonna start it off with old Ken Easley. That man used to bring the hat. You know what I'm saying? He died? Yeah, but I don't know if he passed. I know his career was cut short because of kidney disease. Eric passed. I didn't look that up. But
really?
Career ended prematurely. Otherwise, you know, he might have had the stats to be the best all time. You know what I mean? Put up there with my number 1 pick. But he was one of the ones that one of the first safeties I saw that brought the hard hitting to the game. As far as me being a younger guy, I would look at him play and be like, God dang, this dude, like, don't nobody want to go over the middle against the Seahawks, man, because this dude, he was laying cats out.
He hit Kenny Johnson and knocked all his teeth out of his mouth.
You know what I'm saying? So we go with Ken Easley. We start him off with my number 5. And you know what? Scratch that. He's going to be my number 4. My number 5 is honorary. Number 5, Sean Taylor. He is another one. Just big dude. You would think he was taller than 6'2" because his presence on the field was like he was 6'4", 6'5" or something. He just looked like a huge man, and he could run. You know what I mean? And he would just lay the hat. And of course, we know his career ended prematurely because of the robbery and what went on with that. But that dude, definitely all-around athlete, center fielder, would lay the hat. We all know that. So he would be my 5, easily my 4. And then my number 3, I'll go into who was the standard for free safeties. Gee, you would not know this. You're probably hearing his name for the first time. Ken Houston.
Oh, stop playing with me. Nah. You ain't gonna do me dirty like that.
Man,
I do my research now, man. Come on.
Okay. Well, he was the standard because that man in 1971 said, the year I was born, said NFL record for 5 TDs returned, for a defensive player, 4 interceptions, 1 fumble. The dude was 6'3", 200 pounds. He ran back kickoffs and punts too, but he is a consummate center fielder. He's a dude surveyed the field. He could bring the hat, as well as make plays on the ball. Speaking of making plays on the ball, that will go to my number 2 free safety of all time. And that would be Mr. Ed Reed. Now, he was a dude, that's the true ball hawk. Anywhere there was a tackle to be made in the secondary, he was there. 7-time first team All-Pro. 64 total interceptions in his career. That man had 1,500, damn it, let me give him all his credit. 1,590 return yards off of interceptions, had 6 sacks, 13 fumble recoveries, and ultimate playmaker. But my number 1 safety should be no surprise, man. Mr. Ronnie Lott.
Mr. Lott.
He started off as a corner. You know what I mean? So let you know that the man was an athlete, all-around athlete, could make plays. But once they moved to the free safety, man, the Niners defense just looked different. You know what I'm saying? They had a quarterback in the middle who could make plays. I mean, he's a 4-time Super Bowl champ. We know that. 8-time first team All-Pro, 10-time Pro Bowler. Number retired with the Niners, 63 interceptions. I mean, everybody talks about when he cut his fingertip off so he could play. That was a big thing. I'll never forget. He used to launch his body at everybody. And I'll never forget, man, I felt so bad when he played for the New York Jets. Someone was coming across the middle. Ronnie ran full speed. Boom! Laid into him. And at the end of the play, man just laid on the ground like this. You know what I'm saying? But he just gave his whole body and soul to the game. And he was an older dude when he played with the Jets. So he knew, like, this collision is going to put me down, but I'm going to make it anyway because it's what I do. You know what I mean? And all kudos to him. That man gave a lot to the game. He's my number 1 safety of all time. Architect. What you got, man? You know what I'm saying? What you got? Top 5.
All right. My top 5. Well, my honorary number 6 was Sean Taylor. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if he would have had a whole career, he definitely would have been probably in the top 3 for me. Not even being a Washington fan, but growing up, being a fan of the U, you know what I mean? Sean Taylor's name, it rang in the hallways, man. You know what I'm saying? Someone who, kind of like Ronnie Lott, he threw his body into people. I mean, we all go back to that Pro Bowl.
Tom Ruin. When he hit Tom Ruin.
When he lit my man's up, you know what I'm saying? But not only that, Sean Taylor was a hell of a safety, man. Not only was he a hard hitter, he had a knack to find the ball as well. My number 5, I'd have to go with Troy Palamalu. For me, he's one of the ones. He helped anchor that Steelers defense. It was him and Ed Reed. You know what I'm saying? Those were the top safeties in that era. You know what I mean? Troy Palamalu, he flying around the field. I think he's one of the reasons why they changed that rule where you can't dive over on a field goal and stuff like that, because he had that thing perfectly timed no matter what. I don't know how, but he did. Talking about someone who just made plays, man. He was just always out there. My number 4, I got to go Jack Tatum, man. You know what I'm saying? Jack Tatum, he was one of the ones for me, like, growing up in a Raider household, barring Big G, you know what I'm saying, the one lone cowboy. And, you hear Jack Tatum. I especially remember my grandfather, Frank, you know what I'm saying, talking about the assassin, you know what I'm saying? Someone who was always saying, I was a nice kid growing up. He's like, boy, you ain't got no assassin in you. I'm like, you know what I mean? You got to be a little mean, but, looking up the highlights and just watching old games and stuff, Jack Tatum very much was that. That man didn't care about the other person in the other color jersey. You know what I'm saying? He very much looked like he didn't care about himself sometimes on the field, the way he would toss himself around and just light people up. You know what I mean? Very aggressive, something that you will probably never see again in the NFL, to be honest, the way it's going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My number 3, this one was kind of tough for me because my 2 and my 1 were so like they're so set in stone. But my number 3 for me, Weapon X, Brian Dawkins. I feel like
he was good.
Not a lot because he was on the Eagles. Obviously, like when we think of that NFC East, we think about that star. But Brian Dawkins, Weapon X, man, 37 career interceptions, over 1,100 tackles, and a 6-time All-Pro. I mean, he was a hell of a defender, man. He's another one who's one of those super aggressive types. You couldn't tell by my list. That's kind of where I'm kind of going with this. I like my safeties being a little aggressive, coming downhill, not afraid to tackle. You know what I'm saying? But can also play on the ball. You know what I mean? But Brian Dawkins, he was one of them ones, man. He was definitely not just a leader, but he led by example. He wanted to bring fear to the other team, and he very much did that. My number 2, no debate for me, Ed Reed. Another one came from the U. Tenacious defender, man. That man didn't care if he was trying to catch anything that was thrown his way. If he caught it, he was trying to take it to the end zone. I remember watching. I forgot. It was an NFL film show, and I remember Brian Billick, Ed Reed it was when he ran that back from 106 yards from the end zone. Brian Billick saw Ed Reed caught it. He said, "Go down, go down." No, Ed, no. And he saw Ed Reed get that over. He said, "Go, you son of a bitch, go." You know what I mean? Like that's just the type of person. That's the type of person Ed Reed was. One of the ultimate ball hawks, but would also another one who would throw his body at you. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't be afraid to light somebody up, knowing that he wasn't necessarily the biggest guy out there. And for me, number 1, I think everybody here, he probably going to be top 2, if not 3, is Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott, man, he to me, he's more so like the embodiment of what I would want my safety to be. More so a gold standard, if you will. You know what I mean? Like someone who is tenacious at getting the ball, but also as someone who would light you up in a blink of an eye, kind of like, all right, bro, you caught it, but you gonna regret that you caught it near me, type thing. You know what I mean?
Separate you from the ball.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? No matter what. Obviously, he had all those great years for the Niners. But I mean, shit, even when he was playing for the Raiders and for the Jets, man, like even later on in his career, he never lost his tenacity or his love for quote unquote bringing the pain. You know what I'm saying? Like you alluded to, that man cut off his finger and said, "I'm gonna keep playing." You know what I mean? So, Ronnie Lott is definitely one of them players that, as far as the safety position, will never, and I'll say this with like no remorse, no nothing. We'll never see another Ronnie Lott again. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he's my number 1. He's my number 1 for sure.
Okay, I like that. Ready, Mike? Give me your top 5, man.
Top 5, but I got an honorary safety on here that none of y'all even thought about. For the Arizona Cardinals, his name is Adrian Wilson.
Oh, I thought you said
Talking about Adrian, you heard of Adrian Wilson, right?
Yeah.
That was 6'3", 230, was a beast.
Aeneas?
A hitter.
Aeneas.
Huh?
Aeneas?
No, Adrian Wilson.
Adrian, not Aeneas? Okay.
I'm talking about Adrian Wilson.
Gotcha.
A lot of people slept on, you know who I'm talking about, Greg. 6'3", muscle bound, 230, fast. Big dude can play the center field, can hit, like you're talking about separating you from the ball. He was separating fools from the ball. But that was my honorary. But my number 5 safety is the throwing over the top, going over the top Samoan, Troy Palamalu, because he made made havoc and made a lot of problems in the run game for anybody trying to run the football, because he would just dive over that top and just, get to the running back before he even got started, or he would blitz and get in that gap, and get there before the running back can get going. And just, he was making them shoestring tackles. He was in the backfield all the time. And he still played a decent center field. He wasn't bad. I mean, he might not have the greatest of hands, but he played a great safety. He played his position. He was very smart. You know what I'm saying? He reacted well. I mean, I think that, and he was a hitter. He was physical. So I just think that's Troy Polamalu. He got to be on my list. I got to put him on there. I mean, he is the greatness. I mean, without him, Pittsburgh could not have done what they done, because he was in that box. They asked him to play that box position. You know what I'm saying? To disrupt the running game, and he did just that. He did exactly.
I can get in that.
So my number 4, I would put him higher if he played longer.
Raider Mike, every time you go off the screen, we can't hear you.
Oh, damn, how is that? How left you hear?
We can hear you like good now, but when you go look at your paper or whatever.
No, I ain't look out. Okay, but anyway, number 4 is Sean Taylor. And Sean Taylor could have very, very well easily went way up more up that board. You know what I'm saying? If he would have had a longer career. And it's unfortunate that happened to him, the gun, but I'd have to carry my heat. I'll take the suspension. You're going to suspend me. I'm shooting me. You know what I'm saying? Like Kirby said, I'm going to shoot me a mother. We're going to be split. You know what I'm saying? But that's not number 4, because to me, he's the most feared safety of all time. Because when Sean Taylor was in that middle, they was looking over their heads, looking over their shoulders. They was on the sideline looking for this fool. That fool was fast. He was athletic, and he would just lay the damn wood on you anytime he got a chance with it. But that wasn't just, he was great at playing safety. I mean, he was a great safety. He had all the tangibles. He could do everything. He had the range. He had everything, the speed, athletics, everything. Sean Taylor, remember, he used to play running back before he was a safety. So a lot of people don't know that he was like an all-state or whatever running back. Remember that before they converted him at the U to safety, because he went there as a running back at the U. They turned him into a safety because, they was deep in running backs. The U, that's when the U was the U, Gregory. It ain't the U no more.
Out. Yeah,
and then
turning them out.
Yeah, you remember that, Greg. Come on, man. He had to go to a different position, right? Okay. And it was okay. And my number 3, you gotta, like I'm saying, I gotta give it to Laylaw. That's Ronnie Lott. I call him Laylaw because he laid the law. Like on above the law, Laylaw. That's what Ronnie Lott called Ronnie Lott Laylaw, because you come across that middle, you don't lay the law. So you got to give him that. Not only that, he was a smart safety. He was smart. He knew what the offense was doing before they did it. He's calling it out in, as they make, when they start going in formations and plays. He used to call it out. I mean, he was good. I got to give him that. I got to give him credit. Even though he's a 49er, he did play for the Raiders, but by the time he got to the Raiders, it was, he was at the end of the rope. But he was past the prime.
But he did get 10 interceptions that 1 year at the Raiders, though.
Yeah, he did good, but that's what I'm saying. He still was good, but that's because it's intangible. The smart. He was smart. He's a very intelligent player. That's why he was able to do that. But number 2. And I'm gonna say this because even though he got converted from cornerback to safety, when he went to the Green Bay Packers, is my most favorite Raider player of all time is Mr. Charles Woodson. Charles Woodson had it all. Woodson had the range. He could hit you. He had speed. Woodson was smart. Woodson's the only player to pick Peyton Manning off twice in one game. I was at that game. I was at that Raider game when we picked Peyton Manning off twice. He had 65 interceptions in his career. And he played
and 20 sacks.
And 20 sacks, right. But he did his most damage. With the Raiders, they wouldn't throw at him. He got most of his interceptions when he went to Green Bay, when he moved to safety. Because he had some with the Raiders, but he had more when he went to Green Bay, because when they put him at safety, that was just like, damn, it was like that was his position. Like he ain't never played corner before. He's like he played his whole career safety. That's how good that guy was. He would bait you into throwing that ball, and he would come up with that pick to win the game. Charles Woodson was the ultimate closer. Put it that way. You needed a pick. The game was on the line, like he did against the Cleveland that one game for the Raiders. Didn't look like him. Josh McCown, he baited him, got that ball on the sideline, picked the ball off. That's the dude right there. Number one is the ball hawking Ed Reed. I got Ed Reed number one on my list. I got you. That fool would try to take it to the house any chance he picked the pass off. That dude was the best safety I've ever seen play, the most smartest safety I've ever seen play. I have to give him that credit. I mean, even though I hated the Ravens, I don't like the Ravens, but that dude right there, I truly respected him. That dude, that's the best safety to me. And then we could all get into one day when we talk about if you wanted to go, who was the most feared safety of all time. We can go Jack Tatum, but I would have to go Sean Taylor. But anyway, those are my five.
Okay, Raider lady, bring us home on this topic.
Yes. I'm going to start with my honorable mention, and it will be Leroy Butler. People forgot about him. Leroy Butler for the Green Bay Packers. He was a thorn inside of, watching him all those years, those battles back and forth with the Green Bay Packers and when the Niners, they would go back and forth. Leroy Butler would always make a play. I mean, he's a 4-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro. So that's my honorable mention. But my next one is this dude he just looked like you don't go across the middle. And that's Brian Dawkins. Okay. Brian Dawkins for the Philadelphia Eagles. He always had that dark visor. He just had the mystique, you know what I'm saying? He had 37 touchdowns in his career, 9-time Pro Bowler. 9-time Pro Bowler. He didn't get to win no title, though. He played in the championship game. I think he was on that team with McNabb and them. He played, but they didn't win. But great safety. This great safety, ball hawk, can run sideline to sideline, but he was known for his big hits. All right, my next one. This is going to take it back, in the 80s/90s, but Steve Atwater. Steve Atwater was a straight hitter.
He was a hitter.
He was hitter, right? Shoot. 24 interceptions, another 8-time Pro Bowler, I think 5-time All-Pro. His numbers speak for itself. He played on.
Who was that safety? He was in the secondary with number 49 for the Broncos.
Dennis Smith. Yeah.
Is that who it was? Yeah.
He went to USC.
Atwater learned from him.
Right.
Yeah, Dennis Smith. He used to play for USC. Dennis Smith came out of USC. Yeah.
Right. And he got his title eventually playing with Elway. He got a championship. So that's that one. My number 3 is Jack Tatum, the ultimate intimidator. Okay. If you go put on the highlight reel, nobody hit harder. You just Jack Tatum, the way he gets so low, and just everything you want in a safety, Jack Tatum. My next one is Ed Reed. Like everybody else, a lot of people, it's just a flip-flop between him and my number 1. But Ed Reed, top, back half of one of the greatest defenses of all time. Another ball hawk. I love safeties who can make plays on the ball, go over the top. Okay. He's just what he's known for. That's what he do, just smart, intelligent, already great route recognizer, know how to recognize routes. That's what it takes to be a really good safety. You got to be able to recognize routes because you have to play in space for real. It's not like on cornerback where you're up, you can play man press. And like a safety, you really have to be able to gauge. You got to be able to gauge the field, the width, your peripheral. You got to have all that. And so that's what Ed Reed was. And of course, number 1 is that dude, Ronnie Lott. Okay, had 1 year with the Raiders. He looked good in that silver and black, but known for his, just smacking fools down. Ronnie Lott. I can't say anything more that you all have already said about him. 63 interceptions, 63. Think about that. Just 63 picks from a safety. Ed had 64. That's why they 1 and 2, and they flip flop back and forth because he had 64. But Ronnie Lott. It was nothing. There's no more adjectives I can bring to the table to talk about how good Ronnie Lott was. But that's where he stands. He's number 1 on my list.
I likes it. And do you have time to stick around for the 3 minutes? For the 3 minutes of funk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 9:20. Yep.
Okay, well, we're gonna let you lead that off then.
Ooh, 3 minutes of funk. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. I gotta go football because it's football season. My squad is in camp. My squad is in camp. So I'm gonna talk about mentalities, championship mentalities. What does it take to get to the next level? And that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing this training camp with this squad. Do they have the intangibles? It's not always what what you can do. Making plays. I want to see some of the intangible stuff that you cannot feel and touch is how you bond with your squad, how quickly this team comes together. You got a lot of new faces that will be major contributors. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that. I really want to see the power blocking scheme that they bring into the table. I do not like zone blocking. It's cool and all that. Denver made it real sexy back in the late 90s, with the smaller offensive linemen. I like power football. I like traps. I like pitches. I like seeing stuff like that. And that's what but your boy Josh McDaniel brings to the table. Nobody ran more power scheme in the running offense than him, than the New England Patriots. For all the innovation that they do outside on the outside rights, conceptual routes and stuff like that, they are an old school 21 fullback coming at you, the guard coming around the corner. And that's what this team Raiders missed last year. There was no creativity in the running game, very little. And when I mean by creativity, I mean pitches, power sweeps. You got a man who leads the league just about the last couple of years and missed tackles on first contact. So how can you not get him in space all the time where you can go out there and run people over? I'm looking forward to that with that personnel. I just think right now everything is a culmination. They got the right offensive mind. They got a quarterback who's starving to win. He's starving to win. Okay. He's a competitor, regardless of what you think. He might shrink at times. I don't want to see no damn throwing the ball away on fourth down. I don't need to see a fourth down. You throw it through the end zone. I need you to throw it, make a play. You take it because you don't want to be the cause of a loss, but it is what it is. Your quarterback. Sometimes you are going to be the cause of a loss. You know what I'm saying? But I'd rather have you lose the game by you being aggressive. And that's the next level for Derek Carr. It's sometimes you need somebody to take you to the next level. It's not always the quarterback that can do it, but it's the other complementary piece. And that's what he got in Devontae Adams. He got another place to take him to the next level. And that's what it takes sometimes. You know what I'm saying? The quarterback is not always going to be that dude. You need that complementary piece, and he got it. So he's going to have a level of trust. He's going to throw it up. He's going to throw it hard. So I'm just fired up about this squad because the squad can do things. You know what I'm saying? You got a defensive coordinator, hallelujah, who actually has versatility. Looking at Paul Gunther for 2 years, who has no, I mean, you know what you're going to get every game. Like, no, there's no secrets. There's no element of surprise. Neither with, even though he was better, but Gus either. You know what you're getting. You're getting a cover 3 and some man threw in, sprinkled in here and there. You already know. No, I need somebody to come off, to come back. I need some pre-snap movement. I need somebody to stand up. I might have 3 linemen standing up. I might have 2. I need to give quarterbacks looks. Raiders have never had that. Raiders probably haven't had it since Rob Ryan was the goddamn defensive coordinator in 2000. That's 22 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I'm fired up. They got the right pieces. Sometimes that's what the creation of a dynasty looks like. It's the right pieces at the right time, the right coaching staff. This team finally has stability of some young people. They in their 40s. Their head coach and their GM is in their mid-40s. They can be there for the next 30 years. Are you kidding me? If they get some wins, that team is going to have so much confidence because they start out the box with 5 off-the-chain games. San Diego, Cardinals, I think like the Titans, and then the Broncos and KC. If that's not the measure of your team, I don't know what is. So if they come out of that thing 3-2, 4-1, and dare I say 5-0, sky's the limit because they're gonna be on cloud 9 and they're gonna be looking for revenge. All that shit you talk, all this organization ain't nothing. They poor. All that is changing. It's already changed. We led the league in ticket sales last year. So what are you talking about? That means Mark can put money in escrow. Boom. So that means people want to come there. You build that culture. You got Tay already. Like I said, it's already going to be a place of destination.
Oh, I love it.
You're talking about the restoration of a legacy squad, a legacy football team. I'm sorry, we not Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to put us in a class with Detroit like we just garbage. Don't do that. It's disrespectful. Okay, we had some stumbles and took some bad picks, but the Raiders are back. That's my point. Right. 3 minutes, Raiders are back. They capitalizing off 10 wins last year. They got the pieces. It's like a culmination. They have a window to be able to run it for the next 5 to 8 years. Real talk. I'm just saying, being a competitive. You ain't got to win it every year. I'm talking about competitive. Every year we in the playoffs. Every year we here. That's what Patriots are. That's what the Steelers were. They still are to a certain extent. They showing up every year. I don't care if I got to go to draft. We competing because our core is together. Head coach, GM, the whole shebang. Like I said, they 46. I ain't playing. The Raiders ain't playing. 'Tis the season.
Wow.
That's my 3 minutes.
This is the season.
Wow. You let them Raiders fans go, boy.
Yeah, well,
I like that. Yeah,
I love it, man. I love football.
I had to sit back. I was about to give you a standing ovation. I'm a Cowboy fan. I was, you know what I mean? Oh my God dang. All right. I'm gonna break up a little bit, go a little different direction. Because it's like for me, I'm like, the old saying how they say, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. When it comes to sports,
Damien,
I don't really know. I don't know what the standard of that is. Because you can go with like Tom Brady if he's deflating balls, you know what I mean? So it makes it easier for him to throw, easier for his receivers to catch. Is that a bad thing? You know what I'm saying? If they're video recording people's offenses or defenses so they know exactly what to do against them, is that a bad thing? You know what I'm saying? If Michael Pineda, the pitcher for the Yankees, is putting tar on his neck and rubbing his fingers in between pitches, you know what I'm saying? Is that a bad thing? Or, my girl Marion Jones is taking PEDs to win races. You know what I mean? Or Lance Armstrong, you know what I mean? Doping to win bike races. Then you go with Antonio Margarito, putting cast underneath his boxing gloves. And too bad Miguel Cotto didn't he didn't check his gloves before his fight. He beat Miguel Cotto to a pulp, excuse me. And then when he fought Mosley's trainer was like, nah, man, let me check them wraps before the fight. He wasn't able to do it before the Mosley fight, and Mosley knocked him out. And all that I'm saying is like, sports kind of gets holier than thou when it's like, oh, this, even playing field and everybody's on the up and up, and then when they catch somebody doing something, it's like the end of the world. When they know people are trying to cheat to win. That's what it's about. If you're cheating and you're winning, you're going to get paid more money. Nobody talks about, what was Brett Boone's brother's name, man?
Aaron Boone.
Hold up. Aaron, which one was the manager for the Yankees?
Aaron.
That's Aaron,
right? So Brett Boone. Come on, man. That dude, where is he now? He had a couple of years with the Mariners where he was just unstoppable.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was just, everybody knew he was on the juice, but, Jason Giambi, you know what I mean? Different cats. So what I'm getting at with this is just like, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Because these dudes know I can put in a little bit of work, a little bit of juice, get my little money, get paid, and then maybe I can stop afterwards. It's just all about cat and mouse. Can I get away with it for a little while to my advantage and then let it go? And the biggest payoff of all, and why I came with this, it's my man Big Papi. He made the Hall of Fame. He actually got caught.
Look at you stealing my thunder.
Man, he got caught doing the juice, man. He got suspended. but yet Barry Bonds can't get in.
Feeling
Roger
my
Clemens can't get in.
juice.
I'm like, man, I just hate hypocrisy. I don't like it. You know, I'm like, if you going, I mean, Big Papi played the game. He's a dude. He's a Dominican. Came over here. They like, this is what you need to do. You know, you could, get in the good graces. And let's not forget, when he played for the Minnesota Twins, he wasn't about shit. That man went to the Boston Red Sox, man. Started all of a sudden his numbers arose. Batting average went up. His bat got quick. You know what I mean? His bat was damn near second to only Barry Bonds as far as a lefty turning on that ball, hitting it over the fence. So let's stop with the hypocrisy. If Barry Bonds wouldn't have been an asshole to the reporters, he'd be in the Hall of Fame. We know that. Barry was very arrogant. And, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's my 3 minutes.
Putting that lotion on me.
What you got, Raider Mike?
Well, I got a combination on mine, Gregory. Raider lady, she done said it best. But only thing I'm just saying is this. I'm gonna get a little bit of that, but I'm about to get into some of this. This is what it is. We hired Josh McDaniels. Why did we hire Josh McDaniels? We hired Josh McDaniels to kick Kansas City Chiefs in the ass. We hired Josh McDaniels to kick San Diego Chargers in the ass. We hired Josh McDaniels to kick the Denver Broncos in the ass. You know what I'm saying? This is what we hired him for. This is what we hired this whole regime that we just hired. Just like she said, that got me excited, got me fired up. Like I said, like the Shalimar song, Second Time Around, the second time, it better be better than the first time. And I believe that the second time around for Josh McDaniels will be better than the Shalimar song. I mean, that's a great song, though, but I'm just trying to tell you.
I don't know if we can top that song, though, man.
Hey, listen, you remember the second time? You remember that? That's old Howard Hewitt. That fool got the voice of Velvet, shoot. But no, I just think that's what I really believe. I believe in what we've put together. Number one, I do believe that. And we're gonna fly like eagles. We ain't gonna stumble like pigeons. We're gonna fly like eagles this time. You know what I'm saying? It is time for the Raiders to get their just due and get their respect back that we once had. We're one most winningest team in football. Remember that? We were. That went to hell for the last decade, and Al Davis tried as hard as he could. Give Al Davis 2
decades, my brother.
Yeah, well, okay, well, Gregory, no need to remind. No need to remind. But
not gonna let you slide on that other decade.
Al Davis tried hard to put a good winning product on the field, and I ain't mad at him. So, rest in peace. I loved Al Davis. I don't care what they say about him. I love the guy. He just got old and just couldn't do. His mind wasn't the way it used to be. He was sharp. But then when I go to something about these wide receivers, let's go to the most. I got a wide receiver on here that's the most underrated wide receiver is my number one. Well, let me start with Wayne Quebec. He used to play for the New York Jets. You ever heard of Wayne Quebec?
Yeah.
That's a very underrated wide receiver. He played with Keyshawn Johnson during the time. He was just clutching that damn slot. Only thing that happened to him, he just got too many concussions. He take a lot of hits. He took a lot of punishment. Is why Wayne Quebec is not playing in the NFL no more. And I liked him. He was nice. I mean, that would say what you want. He wasn't fast. He wasn't flashy. But that fool didn't drop passes. He caught everything that hit his damn hands. Wayne Quebec caught. So I got to give him number 5. And I go with Keenan. Well, Keenan Allen is in there. He's very underrated. He might not have the speed that all these other receivers got. But Keenan Allen runs great routes. He's a big body, and he knows how to get open. You know what I'm saying? Even though he played for the LA Chargers, who I despise, but at least when
he was a Cal Bear, though.
He was a Cal Bear. That's the only reason why I'm giving him his love. I got to give him his credit. You know what I'm saying? Wes Welker was the inventor of the slot receiver, and he was underrated. I mean, he made plays, but I still think he was underrated. Let's say somewhat overrated and underrated at the same time. When he was with the Dolphins, you never heard nothing about him, right? Until he came to the Patriots. He made it, paved the way for a lot of receivers to get paid right now that's in the slot. bottom line. And he was, you know what I'm saying? He didn't reap the benefits to get that cash like they did. You know, Bill Belichick wasn't paying. You said, we made you, we'll pay you what we're going to pay you. Just like what's the name said, dollar bill on players, because I'll pay you what I feel like. So shut up, don't say nothing. So that was the whole thing with him. And Julian Edelman is very underrated. Great receiver, great hands, ran great routes. He wasn't a burner, but he did everything on the football field that you could ask for a wide receiver. He used to be a former quarterback at Kent State, right? He would block, he would catch it, he could throw it. I mean, you got to give him his credit. I mean, you know, I give him his credit though. But the one person who I give the most credit, who's most underrated, if you've seen Hunter Renfro in a damn grocery store or just walking around somewhere, you think he was a damn bookworm or something, right? A mad scientist, right? He don't look like a football player. He don't have the body type. He don't look like it. But when he stepped on the field, he all beast. You know what I'm saying? I got to give Hunter Renfro credit. When he was over at Clemson, winning a game-winning touchdown from your boy Deshaun Watson, and that when they had to beat Bama, they didn't beat him the first time, but they came back. He came back and got that OZ out, caught that touchdown. That's when I was convinced. I said, I hope the Raiders draft this fool. And you know what? We did. And you know what? I'm not even lying, Greg. I had a vision. I said, you know, we're going to draft Hunter Renfro because he fits the Raiders. He fits.
You know, Edelman got that Super Bowl MVP too, right?
Yeah. I told you, Edelman is bad, though, man. He don't get the credit that he deserves. And I just want to give Edelman some credit. You want to give, like I said, Hunter Renfro, you get his credit. But like I said, I think that's my 3 minutes is up. But that's where I went. I had to go on freestyle on that.
Yes. I like it. Architect, about to bring us home on this episode, my brother.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna just list off some stats real quick. You know what I'm saying? We have a 8-time Gold Glove, 14-time All-Star, 7-time MVP, with a career batting average of 298.
Oh,
Not to mention 3 all-time records. You know what I'm saying? A WAR of 162.8.
did you want us to guess who that is? Because it's very easy.
Wait.
You know, I can steal your thunder.
Wait, and I want you to compare it. I want you to compare it to these other stats on the list. You got a 7-time Silver Slugger, 10-time All-Star, you know, career batting average of 286, no all-time records, and a WAR of only 55.3. One of these men is a Hall of Famer in David Ortiz. The other one, with the more accomplished resume, is Barry Bonds. Now, much to what you alluded to earlier, David Ortiz got caught using steroids. Mind you, Barry Bonds has only not played one full season or less than 100 games once in his career. Only one time. That man played until he was 42. And the first time he missed less than 100 games, he was 40 years old. David Ortiz didn't play 100 games. Didn't play 100 games until he was 24. That was his 4th year in. And then even then, it was spotting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could say Barry Bonds was an asshole to the media. You can say David Ortiz, you know, smiled and chucked and jived his way all the way to the Hall of Fame. Granted, I'm not knocking, you know, he got his World Series, he got his World Series MVP. But when you look at it, when you look at someone who I consider one of the greatest baseball players of all time, you know how they have the no doubt homer. He is a no doubt Hall of Famer. Barry Bonds is a no doubt Hall of Famer. And because the Major League Baseball's top heads, whatever, they want to try to come at him like just because, you know, he didn't conform to what they wanted him to be, that doesn't make him any less of a great player. I mean, shit. You even look at the man even got over 500 stolen bases. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell me one thing Barry Bonds wasn't great at. You know what I mean? Even growing up an A's fan, there used to be games when I'd be like, oh, Barry Bonds is playing. I'm going to watch that game just because Barry Bonds is playing. I remember watching the game when he broke the record You know what I'm saying? And they had it on the big screen. And was it who was it? Was it Willie Mays? Willie Mays came on the screen and like congratulated him for breaking the record and all that because that's his like goddad or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you mean to tell me this man has a broken history?
Or the Hank Aaron.
You know what I'm saying? Or yeah, him or Hank Aaron, one of the two.
Bro,
Hey.
how many times have you seen since I've been alive? I've never seen someone get walked with the bases except for him. Never.
That's what I'm saying. Like the man's just not like, I'm gonna list off 12 times Silver Slugger, 2-time batting title, 8-time Gold Glove, home run derby champ, 14-time All-Star, 7-time league MVP, 7 times, bro.
3 times before he ever came to the Giants.
Before he came to when he was in Pittsburgh.
Skinny bear.
And nobody cares about Pittsburgh, man.
Pittsburgh, huh?
It's Pittsburgh is a Hall of Fame career.
Mm-hmm.
This man, Barry Bonds, man, he needs to create his own Hall of Fame. Like at the end of the day, everybody and their mama know Barry Bonds is the first ballot, no ballot Hall of Famer. Like there's without a shadow in the dark, you could throw a pencil in the dark room and you could hit Barry Bonds with it, and you know it's a Hall of Famer. You're never gonna see that again, ever. You're never gonna see a player like Barry Bonds again. The fact that the MLB is trying to chastise him and all this shit, not allowing him to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame is ridiculous, utterly ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that plays a factor in why you don't see a lot of black baseball players. I'm gonna just be completely honest. If you don't want to recognize our greatness, you know what I'm saying? But like,
got a point there.
You don't want to recognize one of the greatest baseball players is a black man. Like, don't get me wrong. They've recognized others, but because Barry Bonds was true to himself, he was true to himself, no matter what. You don't want to let him in. You don't want to give him his recognition. You'll give him the record. You know, obviously, you ain't taking that away from 762.
They couldn't stop it.
Yeah, that's 762. You know what I'm saying? Even when he was rubbing the cream on him and all that. But you know what I'm saying? But no, you give that man, look, I'm not talking about Roger Clemens. I'm not talking about nobody. I'm talking about Barry Bonds, the left fielder, the lefty.
Barry Lamar.
You know what I'm saying? Born July 24th, 1964. You know what I'm saying? Stop playing, man. Give that man his flowers.
That's his birthday. You should put him in.
Exactly.
Yes. I love it, y'all. Love it.
Just turned 58. Give that man his flowers, man.
You know, and then with that, we're gonna wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? Let's everybody sign off.
It's your boy Raider Mike, and mark my words, the silver and black is back, baby.
That's right. Raider Lady in the building. We're gonna do it again. You already know how you do it. Like, share, subscribe. And I look forward to it. It's always good.
Man, this your boy, the Young Architect, man. Yeah, man, let showcase more black people, man. Maybe baseball. Maybe then you get some more recognition.
I like it. Big G signing off. Remember, like, share, subscribe. We'll be back next week. Same place, same time. Peace.